Okay, and we're live. Thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of the Laura Flanders Show. My name is Jeremiah Cothran and I'm the Communications Director. And I just want to say thank you for joining us. We're joined here with Jason Goward, who is a citizen of the Fond du Lac tribe at Ojibwe. He's an Anishinaabe water protector, and we're really excited that he could join us today. You just saw the episode. I'm joined here with my colleague Sabrina Artel.
Hi, I'm Sabrina. I'm the story producer with the Laura Flanders Show. Laura's away on assignment and will be back next week. And I have such great respect for you, Jason. And Tasia Martineau is at an action, and Jason shared with us that she will be trying to connect with us from the front lines. So we will welcome her when she's able to do that. So, Jason, I'm thinking about what Judith LeBlanc said in the episode. Judith LeBlanc is the director of the Native Organizers Alliance, and she said that this is a magic movement moment. So I'm wondering how this is creating the cultural shift about stopping our reliance on fossil fuels, getting us out of the extractive industry mindset and actual violence that creates, and that you and Tasia spoke about in the episode. So Jason, some thoughts about that, even for yourself, how you have shifted in how you think about it.
Actually, minimalization is key for now. But if we actually are semi-forced to get away from the fossil fuel and extraction industry, we will be forced to find new avenues rather than just keeping this going, keeping this alive, keeping this, because if there's resources still underground, we're still going to get them. We're still going to get to them as a human race, and we're still going to be reliant on them, and we're still going to be hurting not only the soils, the grounds, the waters, but the air and animals that live and inhabitants that are within. So.
Yeah, Jason, can you talk a little bit about? So we know that Michigan ordered for Line 5 pipeline to be closed down. Can you talk a little bit about the latest on the front lines to shut down the Line 3 pipeline where you and Tasia are organizing?
We have been working with, I've been working with the Minnesota Chippewa tribe ever since the pipeline was proposed. And so on a tribal level, I've been working with it. And we are, as one reservation, are violating the treaties of other reservations, as the pipeline is in succession to cut through all territories. So one reservation that approved it actually allows rights of passage through other pipelines, which is not actually true. It's violating other reservations' treaties. And we've been working with political, literally locking down the machines, soft blockading, it's called. It's where you get in the way of working trucks, just frontline political and social. There are the three major components that we have tried to stop this pipeline from going through our ceded territories.
And these direct actions that you're describing, where you're actually using your body to stop business, right? Stop the construction. At what point, Jason, did you know that you would do that you could? What changed for you that you were willing to take that kind of stand?
Well, I haven't done it for a while now, but right when I first started, after I left the pipeline industry itself, I went to the job site and climbed on top of an excavator, and they couldn't operate while me on top of an excavator safely. So they had to shut it down. And that was in January. So immediately I knew I could do it. And also, like to stop work, I would sacrifice to do that because we were going through our natural food, our natural food gathering places called rice lakes, Noman, so I literally I would come to the realization my son might not be able to go there and harvest wild rice in 20 years from now on. This pipeline job is only going to benefit him for the next only 2 years. So I was like, well, food for 100 years, or food for 2 years. So I had to make that decision, and I climbed on top of an excavator like immediately. So.
And
oh, thank you, Jason. I think Tasia's trying to get in, Jeremiah. I just got a message. Do you see Tasia there?
let's see, I don't see her yet in the room.
Okay, I'm not sure. Okay,
I just on the wrong link.
Oh, you know what? I think, yes. So maybe, all right. So Jason, sorry, we just want to make sure that we get Tasia.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic, especially if she's out there doing an action, if we could get her.
I know, I think she's in on YouTube and not on the Zoom.
Right.
So I'm gonna message her now.
Yep.
But before I do that, because we do want her to join us, I just want to let everyone that's listening know that Jason is joining us from Cloquet, Minnesota, where Line 3 construction is happening. He's a water protector. He is part of the Eagle Clan, Fond du Lac Nation in Minnesota, and he was a former contractor with Enbridge, the extractive company that is responsible for the pipeline construction. And he left. He quit his job, and now he is one of the frontline activists. So I just wanted to let people that are watching know that. And Jeremiah, I'm going to hand it off to you for a minute while I just message Tasia. I'll stay on screen, but I'm going to message her.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Sabrina.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Jason, yeah, you were a former employee with Enbridge. Have any other employees, are they currently contracted with Enbridge, or former employees? Have they joined the fight with you and Tasia?
I don't know what happened. I lost audio there for a second.
Sure.
I think I heard a little bit of it.
No, absolutely. So I was just asking, has anyone of your former coworkers, have they joined some of the action with you and Tasia? Former employees?
I guess there's been six of them. I don't know what's happening. I can't hear. I don't know. But I've heard there's been 6 workers that have joined the fight amongst the state. I don't know why I can't hear.
You can't hear?
No.
Let's see. We could hear you perfectly clear, but let us know. So you can't hear us now. Is that correct?
I can only hear a little bit.
We can hear you.
I turned my volume all the way up, and I put the do not disturb on, and it's still, I don't know.
Oh, well,
they actually
So Jason
had shared with us earlier that there are a lot of issues with the internet connections in Cloquet, Minnesota, and it's suspicious. They aren't sure why, but there's something that seems to happen during actions and during certain conversations around the pipeline. So we're not sure, but oh, good. You're back.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I still can't really hear my audio. It just cut out. They a lot of the times they jam the pipeline security industry jams our signals part way. and it really does happen like this. I don't know what's they do it. They just do it. It's a form of censorship.
Well, I'm glad you're back. I know that those techniques are used in protests. Certainly at Standing Rock, they were also used where there's that jamming that happens.
Yeah. And we
So
actually just tried to have Tasia on here. She showed up for a minute and then was blocked off. So she might also be having some difficulties, or especially at the line of action, they could be blocking.
Okay, so yeah, so hopefully she'll join us, but we do have a question. We have a question. So it says, how exactly do you get traction if other territories allow the extraction, allow the pipelines, and how many territories are in play? And do you have to send people to every incursion? So that's a question from our audience for you, Jason.
I know. I think I can hear you a little bit. I know that there is 1854 ceded territory.
How many?
Which is, huh?
How many territories?
I'm trying to list them.
Okay.
There's 1854, which is Fond du Lac. That's one. There's 1837, which is also part of Fond du Lac. There's 1855, and then there's a Red Lake Treaty, a Red Lake Treaty, which is different, and that's four I can think of off the top of my head. Directly in line where the line cuts through. But I don't know about Canada and North Dakota and all the other places the pipeline cuts through. Four in the state of Minnesota. Four treaties.
In the state of Minnesota. So this makes me think about, Jason, what's happening in your own hometown, your community, around the, I know it's very common when fossil fuel industry comes into towns, into areas, that there's a divide that gets created, a lot of conflict in a community. So yes. Are you able to talk to us about that?
A lot of the division is we have very little resources here on native reservation to begin with. And when we have some possible resources, such as money from a pipeline or jobs, we do tend to argue and fight amongst each other over these resources. We are a colonized nation, but at the same time, we are still light years behind modern society. Our housing is substandard. Our food, our medicine is substandard. We just got internet services like on a majority of the reservation just literally a year or two ago, and so trying to play catch up with the rest of the country is actually much harder than it is to actually go back in time for us. You know, that's why we have a camp, and the camp is thriving. It's really is it really is a sustainable old style living, you know, with some modern elements amongst it, but it actually would in some ways would be easier for us to go back into decolonization at this point in the way we live as a general population. But yeah, we fight over those resources that keep us stringing along. So
thank you, Jason. We have a couple of questions. So Jeremiah, let me bring those into the conversation. Absolutely. So one question is, if you could speak to us about an issue that hasn't been covered yet or isn't getting enough attention that is critical to the movement's success. So that's one question. And then the other is, how do you make money to survive when you are brave enough to be a movement activist?
I'll answer the first question first. Critical to the movement right now, outside of the fact that they're harming our environment and and violating our rights as indigenous people, is the murdered and missing indigenous women. I don't know if that gets talked about enough, but when there's a lot of group of men, primarily men, a long ways away from home, they tend to want needs from women, and sometimes at any cost. So a lot of violence towards women, sexually and physically, and yeah, it's kind of sad. That's not getting a lot of attention. And then another one actually really is drug trade. A lot of these folks that are coming from out of town bring chemicals with them, hardcore chemicals such as heroin and methamphetamine, to sell to folks they may or may not know up here, and to make a quick extra dollar for themselves, and or just provide the money to someone that's up here who's already a drug dealer, and provide the money, and that just further negates the sober movement that's up here. Um, you know, so.
And what do you think, Jason? Thank you. I agree that these issues really do need more attention. And what do you think needs more attention that would lead to the movement's success?
Oh, I thought I can barely hear. I thought you meant needs more attention because of what's going on within the movement. What would need more
definitely
attention?
both. I think they're really connected.
Yeah. What would need more attention is just more physical help, helpers coming up and staying at the camps, putting their resources and bodies on the line, as well as I think our camp is getting full now. We only have I believe 13 acres. So we need another well-established camp like Standing Rock, where there's like 100+ acres, or where everyone can go to. I know Minnesota has 4 or 5 camps now. There might be another one starting up, but they're all small acreage. You need a centralized camp with a huge amount of acreage, just like Standing Rock. And then all these outpost camps can be utilized as well. But we need some land in a big amount. That would be the most useful, where we can have everyone go to. So.
Do you want to talk about how, at Camp McEasy, how you're acting in solidarity? Tasia in the episode talks about, how forms of mutual aid are popping up. We talk about the divisions, but let's talk about how people are coming together and supporting each other in solidarity at the camp.
We don't just support each other. We also support the community quite a bit. We have solidarity even within band members of our own reservation. We provide meals for the elders, those that are senior citizens, elders we call them. We provide meals like most days out of the week for them. Tasia helps people get to ceremonies. She actually helped pay for funeral costs. Like any kind of donations that is extra that she has found ways to put it right back into the community or the surrounding area, or into the folks' hands that stay at camp long term. We have talking circles there at camp, and anyone's welcome to come there for the talking circles. It's like a support network, grief support talking circle. She's given out tasers and pepper spray to women in the community and women at camp, just in case of sexual violence or attack. She's provided security cameras even for folks in the area as well as out of the area, and she's went over to Line 5 camp over there in Solidarity. She's been to the BLM movements in the cities, provided resources to them down there. She really is like all genuine about helping everyone and everything that is in need. Like I commend her vastly for that.
And Jason, how does she do this? How does the community do this? You've both described for us a community that is struggling economically, and you quit your job with Enbridge Oil Company because you felt that you had that moral obligation to do so and to become a water protector. But how is Tasia able to do this? How are you as a community able to provide these meals and commit to these efforts for the movement?
Donations and volunteer work. Donations and volunteer. Every one of us at camp will volunteer to our time, our sacrifice, our vehicles, well-being, and donations that Tasia has gets from online and crowdsourcing and different things like that, as well as we actually go and try to make a few dollars doing cash jobs in the area. And we have fundraisers. We have I know we had some Indian taco sales, different things like that. We do whatever we can to help sustain the camp and redistribute amongst the folks that need it the most in our area.
And even Camp McGeezy was crowdsourced. The funding for it was crowdsourced. I know Tasia shared with us. We have another reaction and a question from our watchers, which is how shocking the dangerous treatment of women is that you're describing, Jason, and that Tasia shared as well in the episode. And the question is, isn't this horrid economy illegal? Is there no protection for these women?
A lot of times, the camp itself is the protection for the women.
I see.
I know that we are actually actively seeking someone in Sawyer, Minnesota that has a warrant out from Carleton County, trying to catch him away from some of his hideouts, who raped one woman and then first degree assault with a deadly weapon on another woman. And we are trying to catch them. We're trying to be nonviolent, wrestle them down, zip time, and then call the police, or just draw them out and then call the police and wait for them to show up. But there's almost no protection from the police because there's hardly any police out here on the reservation. They show up to our frontline stuff, but they don't have very many detectives or investigators. I think our Fond du Lac Police Department, our investigator, our detective actually just retired. And the more we actually, this is the whole problem of all of this. The police are when we go to an action, are called out, are paid for by Enbridge to be there. So in a way, we actually get get money for our police department by having them come out to our actions. And then in turn, they can actually go and do some of the things that need to be done, such as rape and murder and missing Indigenous women and assaults and the things that need to be done, the actual protection part of protection and serve, the actual protection, and it's the two-edged sword, you know, uh, two-edged sword, what do we need them, but don't we need them? And it
Right.
really sucks.
I'm so sorry. What you're bringing to our attention is what happens when industry comes into a community. I mean, this has been studied and proven. You've talked about the drugs, you've talked about the violence and disappearance of women and girls in communities. You've talked about divide. So I want to thank you for bringing up these very painful and disturbing things for us.
So, Jason, I just wanted to ask you, you've made it your mission to, protect the land for, your son, your future generations as well. There might be a lot of Enbridge employees currently employed now who are thinking something's not right. They're thinking that this extraction industry is not the future. They're starting to see other solutions out there. I want to give you some space to say, if you had a message to other employees, former employees, or current employees at Enbridge, to say, how do you get to the other side? They might be afraid, at one point, to cross from Y to the next because of lack of money or resources. But what would you say to them that it's actually okay to cross over and to join your efforts?
Take the leap of faith. Take the leap of faith, and hopefully, your individual higher power will take care of you, and more than likely, your higher power will, because it is the right choice. I seem to be okay quite a bit after taking the leap of jumping out of that industry and into the water protector lifestyle, and I'm taken care of by Tasia and other individuals. But actually, I don't even have a TV in my house, and it feels amazing not to be so colonized to a point where I can't even be aware of what's outside. I can't even hear the wind outside, or and now I feel like I reconnected with nature and my surroundings instead of always blocking it out with modern things that only just keep me distracted from my inner self.
Jason, we're so grateful for the work that you're doing. Certainly, if you get in touch with Tasia, let us know how things are going from the action today. We'd love to keep in touch. And for all our listeners out there, thank you for tuning in. Again, we're joined with Jason Goward, who is an Anishinaabe water protector, citizen of the Fond du Lac tribe. And I'm here with my colleague, Sabrina Artel, and I'm Jeremiah Cawthron. Laura will be back next week for our next Sunday talk back, and we hope that you could all join us. And Jason, again, we just thank you so much for the work that you and Tasia are doing out there.
Yes, thank you so much, Jason, to both you and Tasia. We really appreciate it.
Miigwech means thank you also in Ojibwe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you, everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.